Hello, friends, and welcome to yet another episode of Webisode. Our goal to this web episode is to bring the professionals from all around the world, give their best to you in minimum time possible. We know with the COVID going down and we are moving towards post-pandemic, everyone is busy in their work. So everyone is busy in their work. They are trying to find new ways, new normal, I would say the new normal, how to cope with this world, how to cope with the reality. Some of the people have to wear masks in their 12 hours duty. Some people have to find different way, different worlds. Everyone world is different. Everyone way of life is different. And we need coaches and mentors along the way to find the right path. So with us, and with this all things in mind, we have with us Coach Wendy Wong with us. Hi, Wendy, how are you? And thank you for accepting our invitation to come to the StreamYard web episodes and share your thoughts with us. So, with Coach Wendy, just let me give you a little introduction about her. She's a leadership coach. She's dedicated to doing what she loves and excels in helping others leaders to do their best. Wendy works with leaders through their different leadership passages, ranging from first line leader to C level executives. Having more than 25 years of experience in multiple countries, functions, and industry, Wendy has helped multiple leaders to transform different stages of their life. Wendy loves to work in people development, engaging them to multiple organizations development and helping to understand what are the politics, what are the best practices to implement in their organization. Wendy has led an organization to externally recognized gold in global CSR awards under the best workplace practices category. She has helped people in their personal leadership. So Wendy, you have such a huge profile. We welcome you at Web Episode.
Thank you, Amer. Hello, everyone out there. Really happy to be here and to share some of our thoughts about coaching.
So Wendy, first question. Can you please share your journey and give some lessons which we can implement in our life?
Okay, that's interesting. Basically, 25 years is a long time for work, but let me just cut it short for you. So, for me, I have a big curiosity about how businesses grow. So, that is my passion. That is something that I'm curious about. So, I started as a chartered accountant. 10 years of into that, and then I realized that in business it's not just about numbers, but it's also about people. Actually, in business, people are the competitive advantage. And so that's how I spent the other next part of it, of my life, being a head of human resources and looking at certain regions to investigate more about the people and how do you get the people potential out. And so in this quest for, interest in this area, I've learned a couple of things. The first one is, as leaders ourselves, I think it's important to be confident and to bet on yourself. A lot of leaders say, oh, should I not, should I? They take a lot of time doing that. I'd say, why not bet on yourself? All right, so that's first. Second, because I have been very curious with different skills, right? I think it's important to always bring whatever you have with you. So when I was a finance person moving to HR, I didn't let go of my HR finance work. I brought it with me into HR. And when I was doing HR, I found out coaching was a fantastic way to improve potential. And I brought my finance and HR into coaching. So it sort of snowballs, and I encourage us to recognize all the skills and strength that we have and move that forward so that you become stronger and stronger at what you do.
Okay. So we have to be confident and we have to bet on ourselves and use all the tools that we have learned in the life and implement them along
Bring
the
it
way.
forward. Yeah, that's
Put
right.
put them forward. So Wendy, if you can go back in time, if you have
Mm,
a time machine and you can
yeah.
change anything in your life, what would
Mm.
you change?
Okay. Of course, failures are good as well, right? So failures make us learn. So I think what in what I would go back in time to think about would be not to be afraid to fail. Not to be afraid to fail, because don't see failure as negative, see failure as an opportunity to learn. And the faster we learn, the faster we grow. And so failure is actually a friend. And for a long time, I thought, oh, better not steer so close to failure kind of thing. I may just fall off the cliff. And the truth is, every time you fall off the cliff, you rise up further and higher. And so if I knew that, I would have embraced that even further earlier in my career and my life.
So we can say that failure is our friend. Now that's a new thing to understand, that think failure your friend and embrace it and move ahead, because through failure we can learn so much that we can become the best version of ourselves. Would you share your coaching model or style with us? How do you coach executives to become the better persons?
Okay, so even before a coach, I think I've always believed that perspective is a really important quality of a leader. The ability to not just tunnel vision is important to tunnel, but it's also important to expand your thoughts and expand to different levels and layers and dimensions. So perspective is one thing. So in my coaching work, a big thing that I do is to help bring more perspective to the leader. And I think that that's through creating awareness within and around the leader. And from there, I think the beautiful thing happens, because when you have an expanded perspective and an expanded awareness, a leader gets more choice. And with choice comes freedom. And so I think that that's how I work with leaders. It could be any dimension in the sense of challenge, but the key is to bring forth new perspective, new insights, and then say, okay, with this new insight, what do we want to do with it?
Okay, so basically your model works in a way that you help the leaders to expand their perspective, and with the perspective, it comes that we see more things, and when we see more things, it's just like then when we go on the hill, and when we reach the top of the hill, we can see each and everything, and with that, our perspective is expanded. We have more choices, and we can work in better ways. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Now, what are the top skills for future executives, and how can we develop those skills in us so that in future we can become better executives?
Okay, top skills for executives. I
Yes.
think executives, one thing I always believe is first ourselves. We have to be a leader within ourselves. So your own self-awareness and our own understanding of who we are, our values, and our beliefs are very important. So that's a good start. So, and again, as I said, you always bring it forward with you, right? So that expands, but start with yourself, and then start to understand others and to expand. And I think leaders, one thing is to learn how to help others grow. I think that's really key, because a person can only do that much. However smart or however wonderfully strong we are one. And a leader is about bringing forth the power of many, and that's also a skill set that you need to learn and grow. And it's not something, I always say, we are not robots where we have a little switch here, like on off. We don't do that. And so I encourage us to continue to grow, continue to learn, because the journey is long, and and the fun is in the journey. So I encourage you to embark on this anytime you have.
Continue to learn. Journey is fun and constant and never ending improvement. Always moving towards, like the Japanese Kaizen, that continuous improvement helps you to move towards. And empathy, team management, and self awareness is the key. I would like to focus on empathy, awareness, and combining them under the umbrella of emotional intelligence. How
Hmm.
one can become more emotional intelligence, and is emotional intelligence a learnable skill? If yes, how one can become more aware?
Okay, that is a big question, Amer. Thank you very much for asking it. I am a proponent for understanding emotional intelligence and EQ as well. So to make it simple for our audience, I'd say that EQ is split into internal awareness and external awareness, and also internal management and external management. I'll start with internal first. So it's basically internal and external. Internal is within ourselves, right? We need to be more and more aware of ourselves and aware of how we are, who we are. That's one. And one thing is just being understanding that is not enough, because then you have to understand about, because we understand who we are, how do we manage it? So it's not enough to know that you're angry. Let's just say an emotional comes up, you're angry. But it's important to know how you're going to manage this anger. So that's something. So it's self-management as well. It's part of EQ, right? And then we move to the external part, which is the understanding your environment, right? Some leaders understand their environment, then, but that's about it. But we need to understand our environment and also think, okay, in this environment, how would I like to create an influence? And that is relationship management. So in a nutshell, that's EQ. And in coaching, basically, we translate a knowledge into insights, and with insights into, so what will you do about it? How are you going to be? And that's the growth that we're looking for.
That's the growth. And how basically we can learn it. Then we are
Mm,
getting many questions from audience. I will also on emotional intelligence. I will focus also on that. But how we can learn to become more intelligent. For example, we got a question from Irfan. How to manage anger? We are getting angry a lot of the time. So how to basically manage anger?
hmm. That is a great question, Irfan. Thank you for the question. So it is a big question, but let me just, and what I'm going to say is only a tip of the iceberg, all right? But these are some things that I've realized, even for myself as a person. We all feel emotions, right? So I think one of the things is, one of the key to self awareness is to actually give yourself enough space, hold the space for yourself so that you can feel who you are. All right. And some people meditate, some people just be aware of who they are. And what I noticed is that, imagine, this is something I learned. I forgot who from whom, but this is something I learned. Imagine, this is your brain. Okay, this is your brain. And this is the
Okay,
limbic system. So
okay,
what I feel, when anger comes, it will come from the bottom. It will surge up, right? And then it will hit our this part here first, which is, I believe it's called amygdala.
okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it will
Yes,
hit
yes,
your
yes, Abdullah.
emotional side first,
Yes.
amygdala, before it hits your prefrontal
Mental
cortex,
cortex.
which is
Okay.
the way, that's when you're conscious. All right. So it hits your inner emotion, your heart first, before it you realize it. All right. So emotions happen like that, goes up and then hits out. All right. So if we're not aware of it coming up, you the reaction time between the amygdala to your prefrontal is maybe half a second or a second, and that's enough to make you jerk, right? So I'd say being aware of how your anger behaves or how your emotion behaves, so you can recognize it earlier, is one of the good ways to um, be more aware, so that you can adjust. So as it's coming up, the more and more you're aware of when it's coming up, you know already. So it doesn't blow up. You have time, like a split second, to adjust yourself.
So
Thank you, Irfan,
we
for the question.
So we can say that self-awareness is the key to managing your anger, because under the emotional intelligence, as you said, self-awareness, then public, then dealing with the public. So self-awareness is the key to manage the anger, knowing when your brain is moving from amygdala to prefrontal cortex, and delay that time, maybe something like that.
Yeah, delay that time or realize it quicker.
Okay, so we got a question from Maria in the same context. If other person has done something bad to us, do we have
Mm.
to forgive them or take vengeance? Now it's more related to perspective, that what to do, what not to do. But if you can answer that.
Maria, Wow, 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 wow. Thank you for the question. This is a hard one. Whether you forgive or you take vengeance, correct? And I would say, first, Maria, take a deep breath and just relax in it. And I guess the important thing is not the how yet, because you're asking whether vengeance or not is how. But I'd say, think about what do you want out of that situation? Do you want friendship? What do you want? Or what is your bigger self wanting? And of course, at anger, we're like, oh, I want vengeance kind of thing. Oh, it feels so good. But I think it's about, look, taking a deep breath and say, what is my inner wisdom telling me? And then from there, be guided.
So maybe
Thanks, Maria.
going to the meditation and working on it, and then finding the answer from your inner self and understanding, is this relation important to me or not? Do I want to dance with the person, or I want to dump that person, and decide accordingly, right, Vengi?
And if that person is not worth the time, then you wouldn't even want to bother with a lot of stuff, right? So
Okay.
you have to take a deep breath first and just say, what do I really want? What do I really, really want?
What do I really want? So learning even to let go the person is very important. That some relationships are so toxic, or they have reached their level that they are not important anymore, and we have to let them go, and we have to accept that fact, right, Wendy? Okay.
And it's not easy. I want to recognize that it's not easy. Letting go and all that is easy to say, but as a person, I want to recognize those of us out there. And when I say those people out there, I also mean myself.
Okay.
Letting go is a process, and it's something that it's not easy, but it could be worth the while.
Okay. So Sarah is asking how now she has taken the other side of emotional intelligence, how to learn to deal with hard people.
Thank you, Sarah. So, how do you deal with hard people? Hmm. I think first is to recognize that they are people. And so they are humans just like us. They are, and not in particular, but let me generalize a bit. So, not specific, right? Hard people is probably people who don't align with us in where we want to go, right? And so sometimes we feel that they are blockers because they have a different aim, they have a different direction, and it seems that it's different from us, and that's why it's hard. And so I would say it would be great to first um, have a look at, think about what is it that is valuable to them, what is it that they're wanting, and start to understand where they're coming from. And then once we empathize, this is empathy, right? Understanding the other person. And once you start to empathize with the other person, then you say, okay, with this understanding, what do I want to do? How do I want to dance in this relationship?
So
Hope that's helpful.
empathy is the key. So Mari has asked a follow-up question. How can you guide us in the path of how to let it go? As you said it, it is difficult. So
It is.
is there anything that a person can do? Because with this COVID situation, I have to tell it you that millions of people are getting laid off. So a person having a job on a daily basis is a different person. The person having no job, no money, and difficult to feed your children. So how we can learn to let go of hard things and learn to accept the facts? Is there any process for that?
Um, Thank you very much for that question. I love you guys because you guys and girls are asking me fantastic questions. So I'll give you an analogy. You hold this hand tight, right? Tight. So when you're tight, you cannot let go. You don't have enough space for choices. There's not enough space for choices. I give you a story. I think it's from Harvard Business Review, where they said, how do you catch monkeys? So what they do is they have a coconut or a box kind of thing, and they cut a hole small enough for the hand to go in, for the monkey's hand to go in, and hold the banana, right? They go put their hand in to take the banana. Once they take the banana like this, the monkey's hand cannot go out. And so the monkey is caught, right?
Okay.
And the way to actually get out and be released is to let go of the banana. But the monkey wouldn't
Oh,
let go, so it holds. And so this sometimes is the way our brain works. It holds on something and we won't want to let go. One of the ways I think that is valuable to and I'm speaking from myself and my own experiences, is perhaps to see what is it I want differently. So, for example, being let go, for example, would be okay, we had a good job or you had a good job kind of thing, but what is it that you want differently? And then go for it. So it's not holding on to the past, but I'd say pursuing the future. That's important. And when you pursue the future, you found out that you let go of whatever you were holding on to. Maybe that will help.
we are getting a great response from the audience, and this is the first time that females are getting so much involved in this conversation. Maybe because, let me tell you, the audience, that Wendy is basically a very proactive for women rights and all those things, right, Wendy?
Yeah, not only
Yeah,
women's rights, but I think freedom for all. And
freedom
freedom
for
to
all.
me is not just about that you're not a slave, but basically I think freedom. One of the biggest things is our minds, and how do we seek more and more freedom in our mind is a big important part of our lives, every one of us.
True, that is so true. Okay, what is passion under your thoughts? And is it important to work on your passion? And the follow up thing, the most important thing, how one can find it.
Whoa, thank you, Amir. Passion. So a lot of people say I'm passionate about this and that, right? So I think a good litmus test of whether or not you are truly passionate, and passion is about truly passion, is your willingness to suffer for a belief or for something. So for example, if you say I'm passionate to be an accountant, I'll give it for example. I'm passionate about accounting, for example, or I'm passionate about project management. So the question will be, how passionate are you? Are you willing to suffer for it? Are you willing to go through the difficulties for it? That will indicate whether you are or not passionate about something, right? And I think passion can be overrated. I think one of the things that I think passion, like anything else, grow. And to find out, I think, is to test. So if you're interested in project management, then you don't have to say, "Oh, I'm passionate about." Test it first. Test and see, hey, is this what I really want to spend my time with? And is this really what I enjoy and feel the flow? So I think once that happens, sometimes you would be taking step and different steps, but it goes forward. And that's the bravery and the story of your life. And it's great to celebrate it.
Okay, okay. So it is great to celebrate. From Akar, we have a question. I am passionate about singing, but I have to work in different fields. Now, this is a question that we normally get, that I am passionate about something, but I have to feed my kids, I have to do my day job, and things like that. So, under these circumstances, what do you recommend? What should a
Yeah.
person do?
Okay. And this one, thank you. But this one, I'd say, is from my point of view only. Okay. So you have to think about it as one perspective. Okay. So I always believe that passion is one thing, but basically, financial freedom and being financially okay is also very important in our lives. We have to be practical, right? So when sometimes you have passion about something and you need to do something else, it's not uncommon. A lot of people go through that. Sometimes I hear about very famous people that before that, let's just say singing, for example, they may do a day job and then they have passion in their singing and all that, and they start their strategizing their singing career bit by bit, but not letting go everything. So they do a parallel for a period of time. A lot of even those Hollywood or Bollywood actors and actresses do that, right? And once one take off, then you can slowly let go of the one that you have less passion for. And I think sometimes in my own career, um, passion can grow. So whatever you do, find whatever it is that part of it that you like, and then celebrate it. And enjoy it. So you may be singing while you do whatever that you're doing. That could be something to start off. I
Okay,
hope that's
so
helpful.
yeah, that's a great answer. That whatever you are doing, keep on doing that thing, because finance is very important. If you don't have food in your belly, then you will forget about the passion, maybe. So start working on whatever you are working, and start saving some money, and maybe working in the night on your passion. For example, if you are as a singer, if you want to do singing, maybe make a podcast, maybe make some videos for free for people, give them free, and slowly start rising to the field. And then when you think that you can obtain financial freedom from your passion, then work on that. Is that, Wendy?
That is something like that, but that is my perspective. Different
Okay.
people have different ways, but I think that's a practical way.
I will agree with your perspective, because letting everything go, especially under today's circumstances, is very difficult. And even if you work in a job for 12 hours, with this digital revolution, you have TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and so many free things. The 4G everything and 5G coming at the edges, you can pursue your passion maybe in your part time, and you can grow that business slowly. So
Yeah.
that's a great thing. Okay, now
Amel,
Ali.
I'd like to just add one more part is that in
Yes, yes.
your day job, don't just do it like, oh, I hate my day job kind of thing. Challenge yourself to find parts of it that you enjoy, so that those 8 to 12 hours is not wasted. Never waste our life anytime, right? So enjoy, find it.
So enjoy while you are working, and find something to love it in your job. Maybe the lunchtime, maybe the cooler talk, whatever you like it. Okay. Ali has asked, is there a difference between passion and purpose? So everyone believes that we are born with a purpose. With every nation, there's a different belief, that we are believe born with a purpose, and we have something to fill. So then we have a passion. Is there a difference between passion and purpose?
It would be nice if it has an intersection where we could have that passion and purpose. I'll give you an example. My purpose, which I took quite some time. I think I took 2 weeks to work it out. Right, was to help others succeed. Then I was like, is that all? To help others succeed? Like, it seems too simple, but I realized through, I think I've held this for 10 years already, to help others succeed is something that brings a lot of joy and my purpose. But my passion is coaching. So I help others succeed through coaching, through my passion. So
You
maybe there is a subset there.
Okay, so there is a subset there. Thank you for the answers. Now, how crucial communication skill is in general, and now with the digital revolution, the people working from home all over the world, how communication is important, and most importantly, how much important active listening is.
Whoa. Okay. How communication is important. I would say that communication is one of the very important skills as a leader that we need to grow. Well, you don't even need to be a leader to, self leadership is important, because we want to share information with others, and communication is sharing and also receiving. So people think I want to have communication skills. What they say is basically I want to have speaking skills, but communication is two-way,
True,
right?
true that,
So that's
true.
one. So that comes to your next question about active listening. Active listening is the receiving, the in communication, you speak going out, you share and influence going out, and then you listen, right? And active listening is about, I would say, the power of listening is the willingness to be open enough so that you are open to even changing your opinion. You are open to
Mm,
changing your stand about something. That's when you're truly open to listen. instead of maybe a half listening, is you're listening to correct the other person and move the other person to your position. That is, I'd say, 50% listening. True listening and active listening is being absolutely open for you to even say, oh, I didn't realize about this. Now that I see this, maybe I would shift my position. So a little bit about that.
So, how can a person develop that skill? Maybe expanding their perspective. Or what are the tools? Is there any tool that I can become a better listener, or anyone can become a better listener?
Okay, all of you can Google, right? So you can Google all the techniques of better listening. But I think I want to leave you with um, a thought. And this one was something I thought, I think, today or yesterday kind of thing. And it was a concept of a parachute. So everybody have a parachute in your head?
Okay,
Parachute, yes? So
okay,
a parachute only works when it's,
open.
yeah. So
Okay,
as in
okay,
listening, you have to open. You have to be
okay,
open to hear anything that comes your way.
okay. We are getting more and more questions, but we are running out of time. So, Wendy, just in the end, where can people find you and ask all those questions? Is there
Okay,
any?
great. Yes, you can actually follow me on LinkedIn. So I am Coach Wendy Wong. So LinkedIn backstroke Coach Wendy Wong, you'd find me. I'm also a founder of Peta Diri. Peta Diri in Bahasa means map of yourself. And it's a
Map
tribute
of
to
the.
all of us, me and all of you, that we will map our lives and own our path. So petadiri.com, petadiri.com.
Thank, thank you very much. It has been a great session. Thank you for time, and I will be looking forward to do it in future. Maybe going deep into the concept of emotional intelligence and communication, and seeing how we can improve it. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you a lot. So
Thank you.
today we have learned from Wendy how you can down get into yourself and know your path, how you can improve your perspective. And I hope that each of one has learned something that they can implement in their life. If in this last half hour you learn one thing that you can implement in your life somehow and your life changes 1%, then the purpose of me doing this, the purpose of Wendy doing this has been fulfilled. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.